In this module, we will learn the inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs of the Acquire Resources process. Acquire resources is the process of assigning and hiring personnel necessary to execute the project. This process builds on the resource requirements established in the Estimate Activity Resources process to assign individuals to project schedule activities. The PMBOK guide defines just 3 key inputs to the Acquire Resources process. The Resource Management Plan will outline some of the position descriptions for resources and reporting relationships among the resources and timetables for the acquisition. The project schedule displays when activities will occur, and the resource requirements have documented the labor categories or resource types which will be needed for each activity. 2 additional inputs are enterprise environmental factors and organizational process assets. Enterprise environmental factors can be a major input to defining the management approach, particularly government standards, stakeholder culture, and the organization's existing infrastructure and tools. Organizational process assets may contribute templates or lessons learned. There are 4 tools and techniques for the Acquire Resources process. Pre-assignment is a list of staff assignments that have been predetermined prior to the project. Particularly in a functional or matrix-style organization, project managers may work with existing organizational resources. There may also be pre-assignments based on special teaming agreements or key personnel that has been selected based on subject matter expertise. Negotiation is a technique used to arrive at agreements that are beneficial for both the project and other stakeholders. This may include negotiation with functional managers, project manager for other projects, or external organizations for desired personnel. Influence can be an important skill in negotiation. Virtual teams are groups of staff that have similar responsibilities and goals that work together remotely, rarely meeting face-to-face. Because there can be a greater chance of misunderstanding, communication management must be emphasized when using virtual teams. Finally, multi-criteria decision analysis is a technique used to score potential project resources based on experience, cost, availability, skill, or knowledge. A weighting system can be used to evaluate the most important factors for resource assignment. There are 3 key outputs for the Acquire Resources process. Physical resource assignments is the documentation of equipment and materials that will be used to complete the project work. Project team assignments is the inclusion of personnel names in project documentation. For example, replacing the placeholders in the project schedule with the actual resource names. Resource calendars is the documentation of when resources can and cannot contribute effort to project activities. This may include exceptions, such as when resources are tasked to work on other projects or their vacation schedule. Resource calendars are an input to several time planning processes, such as develop schedule, since resource availability will affect project scheduling. Finally, many processes may lead to updates to the project management plan. Since the project management plan and other project documents are not subject to the same levels of approval that baselines are, these updates will not require formal change control. Acquire resources is the process of assigning and hiring personnel necessary to execute the project. This process builds on the resource requirements established in the Estimate Activity Resources process to assign individuals to project schedule activities. A general understanding of resource requirements is needed before acquisition can begin. However, acquisition will lead to a better understanding of who the resources are and what their availability is, which is an input to schedule planning. Therefore, we can say that the relationship between time planning and resource executing is iterative.